All right, let me quickly do an audio check. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. All righty, we'll get started in about a minute or so. All right, well, welcome all super traders out there. I hope you're doing great. All right, so today we're going to look at a variety of different stocks, and go ahead and feel free to type in symbols you want me to look at. You can type those in the comments area using caps, of course. And we want to welcome all our viewers here. We're going across a variety of different formats. We're in Facebook, we're on YouTube, and also LinkedIn. So great to have everybody here. All right, I'm going to go over a few administrational items in just a moment. The markets are doing really well today. They're up, the Dow is up over 500 points. The NASDAQ is up around 120 plus. And basically, it's because of the jobs that came out. They basically, in the May figures, were at 339,000. So that surged past expectations. That's why the market is responding. So market is still very powerful to the upside, and we're going to take a look. Some of those stock picks over the past week and last month have done really, really well. So we can also look at those if you'd like as well. All right, so let me go through a few administrational items here first before we get going, and take this time to go ahead and type in your symbols. All right, first thing I want to cover, of course, are the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. But you need to realize that in trading, we work in a realm of probabilities, not certainties, no guarantees in what we do. But we do like to trade with an edge, and that puts the probabilities on your side. That's how you do well in this business. And then you use very strict risk control. We do want you to realize also you should be trading with risk capital, money you can always afford to risk in the markets. Past performance does not guarantee future performance, of course, and there are certain limitations and hypothetical results as well that you should be aware of. Also, too, check with your financial advisor before taking any of the trades we recommend here, because they may or may not be suitable for you. If you need help in risk control, I've got a number of books called the Trader's Money Management System and a Money Management for Traders book, which came out last year. That's the second one from the right. And great book for you to help you implement a good, solid risk control program into your trading. A great book on Elliott Wave, Survival Guide for Traders, and my new edition of The Art of Trading, being published by Wiley, is coming out later this year. We're going to use a variety of software tools. If you're new here, You may not see these on your chart, obviously, but we have charting software for entries and exits. We have scanners for finding markets each and every day and week. And also, too, we have risk control. You got to have good risk control in order to do well in this business. And then finally, thank you for subscribing. Okay, we really appreciate you being here, and give us a like. All right, so let's come out of here and let's go into the charts here. Let me put the data window up here. Now, a couple of things I want to explain before we start looking at markets here, give you a little bit of information on my layout. So basically, I use a charting platform called NinjaTrader. All right, I like it a lot. Our software works in NinjaTrader. It also works in TradeStation, MT4, MT5, multi-charts, and also to eSignal. So if you're using one of those platforms, you certainly can use it. If you're not using one of those platforms, let's say you're using something over at TD Ameritrade, like Thinkorswim or something, you could actually use NinjaTrader. You can download it. It's a free platform, and then import your data over from there. And then, of course, our software will be able to be used on that data. So you don't have to pay for extra data if you do it that way. But anyway, you know, in terms of platforms, this is what the NinjaTrader platform looks like. And I have the software installed, but I notice I have 3 charts, all of the same symbols. This is called a form of analysis called multiple time frame analysis. And what I do is I put our software on different time frames of the same symbol. So the far left is the short-term time frame, and each bar here represents an hour or 60 minutes. And so this basically gives us a quick look at the shorter probabilities on a market we're looking at. Chart in the center is our daily chart, and this one is more of the intermediate type of look at what's going on in that symbol. When you look at most charts, most of them are daily charts. So this is kind of a common chart where each price bar represents the activity for that day. And then on the far right, we have the weekly chart where each price bar represents a full week of activity. So that's a 5 days of when the market's open. And this is considered a long-term chart. So when we put one symbol up spread across a variety of different platforms, we really are getting a good look at the different levels of play here on that stock. So that's why we do that. It helps us time our entries and exits and trade better. At the top, we have our scanners running. We probably won't be using those today simply because you're going to be giving me symbols there. And then on the far right, I have the data box window. So when I put my mouse over a particular price bar, it actually shows us what the price is. And then you'll see these little pyramids on the chart. Okay, they're all over the place. These indicate fractal pyramid trading points in the market. And they are telling us basically if we're in an uptrend or a downtrend. And then we have indicators at the bottom like the owl measuring momentum and helping us count the Elliott waves. And then we have the PTF, and you'll see me use that as well. That basically indicates whether the market is neutral. Probabilities could indicate more highs, more lows. And so that's what that is all about. And then we have trend line analysis here and fear and greed down here. So those are our software tools on the individual charts. All right, let's just see. I got GBTC up. GBTC is the ETF for Bitcoin. And, you know, we were expecting a pullback. We got it. All right. And it seems like it's in the pullback target range right now. So we do expect this to rebound at some point, but short term, we still have a negative PTF. So the PTF is really helpful in a case like this because what you can do is look at whether it's red, green, or yellow. Yellow is neutral. But when it's red, basically find the lowest price bar in that red area. And there's a 75% probability the markets at some point will return and take that out and go below it. So we don't think, because of that right now, we don't think the correction is over. Now, if the PTF abruptly turns green, then we'll change our stance. But for right now, we kind of want to see how GBTC unfolds, and we want a little bit more favorable bullish situation on that time frame. On the daily chart, the one in the center, we still have a red owl, so we have negative momentum, but a neutral PTF. So you can go long or short on a neutral PTF for sure. But with that lower time frame, kind of more bearish, I would stay out of GBTC. If you're in it, like we said below, have your stop low enough. Okay, you can put your stop right under this level here, right at this pyramid. All right, pyramids are used for entries and exits, and that has basically an entry there if you're a long-term trader, at 12.20, so 12.19. If you were trading this move up, all right, you would be stopped out and waiting for the correction to be over and getting back in. So that's GBTC. I would put that on a hold list for right now. All right, let's see what we got. Mark, how are you? All right, Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Give that a second to load. All right, I'm going to open up the weekly chart first. So if you're into Elliott wave, what Elliott wave does is it basically designates swings in the markets with wave counts. And this swing to the upside, there's 5 swings in a trend. So this was a 3. Looks like we're getting close to being done, and I'd say probably done with 4. All right, and now we're heading back up to this target zone, which is 5. So in terms of Elliott wave, when we get to here, the target, then the massive bullish trend on Tesla should go into a correction of quite significance at that time. All right, so that's kind of what it's saying. And then it could restart the process over again back to the upside. So basically, if you're trading this long term, all right, not bad to be long here. All right, got a little bit of bearish momentum, but it's very close to changing. We no longer have an active pyramid to the downside. We do have a green PTF. So the green PTF, the highest high in the green PTF is the wave 3 top. So that's going to help us even more figure out where in the target zone prices are going to go. And so the target zone is a fib extension based off the way in which we draw them on the Elliott wave. And the first area is at 61.8%. That's 344.90. And the higher area of the target zone is a little bit higher, up in this area of 499, almost 500. Now, the PTF is indicating we're going to breach wave 3, high probability, 75% at some point. So probably you're good till about 418 on this one. So, you know, this is not a bad looking trade. All right, let me just take a look at the underlying charts here. Very bullish still. All right, so these are great. All right, so I'm going to put Tesla down as a recommended trade to the long term. Now, when I say long term, basically you could be in this for quite some time, not just weeks, not just months, maybe years. But this is almost one of those where if you're looking for a long term buy and hold for a year or so, this is a good one. All right, short term, all right, it is going up, but at this particular time, we're starting to reach out above here. So, you know, we may get a pullback short term, certainly on the 60-minute chart, but it looks like more highs are coming. So if you want to play this on the short term, I'd use the 60-minute chart, wait for the pullback, and then go again. All right, that pullback will not affect you if you're a long-termer, because your stop is going to be way under this point here at 160.55 right now. So very far away. If you're short term, wait for the pullback, should get to around 175 to 152, and then excel back to the upside. All right, so that is Tesla. Good one to look at. And let's see what we got here. And that was, let's see, that was from Mark. Okay, thanks, Mark. All right, Mark also wants, Mark Hansen this time wants to look at PayPal. Let's see how that one's doing. All right, so PayPal was selling off, had a red PTF, and that proved to be accurate. Notice the prices here, all right, recently went up, but then fell back down. So the PTF was correct in predicting lower lows, but now it is neutral. So we may have a better bottom to ponder here, so to speak. All right, so let's see what's cooking on this one. All right, it's definitely very low. Let's open up the weekly chart. And this is not a wave 4, okay? So, you know, this was definitely a reversal in the trend. So we got to wait for this to bottom. We still got a little red here. We have active pyramids, great short trades. I mean, you could have made a fortune coming down on this using the pyramids. And you would have done well going up, all right? So this is another case of where trading this market, even long-term, all right, would have been better than the buy and hold. So in a case like this, not quite sure I would go into it yet. We still got some negative owl here, getting positive here. I do like this. I think on this one, because it's still got a negative pyramid on the weekly, I'd wait this one out a little bit. I'd like to see a green pyramid on the daily chart along with a green owl, which is this indicator here. And we don't have that yet. So I would hold off on that. Okay. All right. So that's PayPal. Could be close to a bottom. I think we should watch it. I think also we can look at it every week here. So Mark, definitely bring that for next week as well. Let's keep on top of that so we don't miss it, right? All right. Al, how are you today? RES. We'll take a look at RES. Give that a second to load there. All right. I'm going to open up the weekly, see if I can get a big picture on the overall cycle this thing is in using the Elliott wave. And pretty messy, okay? Pretty messy. It looks like we hit a top here and then had a big sell-off. And that's kind of where we're at now, still selling to the downside here. So this could be a bottom, no question about it, right here. But we're moving down. So we don't want to do anything until that movement down is good. If your stop is under this pyramid, okay, and you went long there, you're okay. All right, you're still in the trade. So this has given us a nice pullback to join the trend to the upside if that's what you want to do, right? So let's take a look at that and see what's going on here. Green PTF, that's a really good sign on the daily chart. All right, so a little bit of a messy chart. What we want to do is wait for this to turn green, okay? Because this is a downtrend. I don't want to go against that until we have bullish momentum. I'd like it to get above here before taking the trade. So break the trend line, break this previous high, and let's turn the momentum positive on the daily chart before we take a long trade. All right, so it may be changing, but I would wait a little bit longer on that one out. All right, GENI is our next one. GENI with a G. All right, let's see what's cooking on this. Let me just kind of redo these so we have more price area to look at on the chart. All right, not a lot of history on this. I don't even need to open this one up. So basically, it looks like you know, it started around 2020, went up a little bit, and now it's sunk down into the single digits. Red PTF on the weekly chart on the far right, not a good sign for any type of longer term trade. Now, that doesn't mean you might not get a rebound, all right? You could get a rebound here, and let's just take a look and see where that could go. You possibly could get a retracement here before going lower. So that's possible, and that's not a bad return. That's 100% return on your money. If you make it to 1054 to 1573, which would be a fib retracement. Not my favorite because there's not a lot of history on the weekly, and it's kind of a messy daily chart. All right, so your stop would have to be fairly far away, especially on this penny stock. So I'm going to pass on this one. All right, not my favorite. PATH. You know, a lot of good trading is basically looking through stocks and finding that needle in the haystack that makes sense. That's when you get paid the big bucks, right? So you got to be patient and you got to go through things and have enough of a structured system to tell you what's okay and what's not. All right, so on this one here, again, not much history. All right, goes back to 2021. It's been a straight down. All right, we may have hit some form of bottom. We see a little bit of a turnaround here. Okay, you still technically have an active short trade with a stop right up here. So that trade would have made you a pretty good dough right there. All right, you're starting to see some green here. So you may, again, like the other one, be getting ready to pull up into a fib retracement. However, the problem is this. All right, this has got to go away before I even consider a long trade. I never really trade against it. All right, so the pyramid here is green. That's good, but this has got to change. So this is a no-go. Oh, okay. All right, let's take a look here. ALL for a short trade. And of course, that's Allstate. All right, let's see what's cooking with Allstate. Let's open up that weekly chart first. All right. All right. So, you know, here's the COVID low. Most stocks have that. And then we went up. So we're kind of almost very similar to the Dow on this. We are moving to the downside, and we have a red momentum on the owl. So that's okay. I don't see any red PTF, so they're all neutral. But it's pretty hard for me to get excited about this stock. Perhaps to the short side, like you're saying, is the only trade I think that does make sense. Let's see what we got here. You got a pyramid almost changing here. I'm going to almost consider this one a longer term short. So this one is something you'd want to hold that will do real well. I think if you're prepared to keep your stop high enough during the sell-off to counteract any volatility you may have. You know, you don't want to get stopped out by having your stop so close because you're going to have to give this time. But yeah, it could be a short. I'm not going to recommend it really quite yet, but it's starting to roll over. So I think the possibilities are good. All right. So not too bad. All right. NVIDIA, Stuart. All right. Well, NVIDIA basically was a slam dunk for us. Okay. We had it on the MORE report, which is our market opportunity report for subscribers. Home run. We looked at it last week. And so let's go ahead and open up the weekly chart. And we recommended it here as well quite a while ago. All right. Nice pyramid trading point entry here. Notice profitable trade here. And basically, you know, you'd enter on the pyramids, trail the stops, get out, and then go back in when the next wave, impulsive wave comes. So in terms of Elliott wave, this was a 3, okay? And then this was a 4 and this was a 5. However, look what happened. This owl is now exceeds this one. And I think that's new this week. So this is now still in a wave 3. So these levels here hold, okay? Because these, what you're looking at is a minor 4 inside a 3. So this is a 3 of a 3, probably 4 of a 3, and now we're in 5 of a 3. That makes sense for those that know Elliott wave. That's what it does. So this is really going a lot higher, folks. All right. The only issue I see by jumping in now is you are in a risky part of the movement because there'll be some profit taking soon. You know, there's a lot of people that got in here, you know, early, like we did. All right. And as soon as this starts to show weakness, they're going to take their profits. And the idea is, even though the trend is not over, all right, when it starts going back up, you can get back in. Okay. That's the idea, especially with a green PTF. So this is going higher. I can't really recommend this now, unfortunately, because I think the chances of a pullback here, you know, you could fill this gap over here on the daily and the 60. There's no question this is going higher. All right. So that's a given. I mean, if you wanted to get an option, I guess you could do that, not worry about the stop. I could even get a lead. I think it's going to be bullish for a long, long time. But I think it's going to have a significant pullback on its journey. So that's the only problem with it. Okay, at this point. So I love it. It's great. It's done great for us. But I think you got to be careful getting in at this particular time. Let it correct, and then you can join the trend again. All right, so that's NVIDIA. All right, SNOW. See what's cooking with that one. And Stu, this is for you again. All right, so this one here I like better to some degree, okay? Simply because it was at a bottom, started to pull out, green, but this, we got to make sure. It looks like this now has turned green as well. So this is a go, okay? The only thing is we're saying, well, okay, looks like we have a PTF here, short-term target here. I would say this looks good, all right? I'm going to recommend this one. All right, SNOW, and I would put your stop on this one. Let's see, prices are at 176. I think we want to put our stop right around 135.25 for a long-term trade, trying to get up to 420. On a short-term trade, I put your stop at 172.11. And basically at that particular point, your target would be 221. So short-term trade, 221 ain't bad to 293. Long-term, we're expecting it to go here based off the PTF, indicating that there's a 75% probability we're going back up. So SNO is a recommended. All right, and you got two options, shorter term and long term. All right, let's take a look here. Let's keep going. We got a lot coming in. Jim, how are you today? SOFI, SOFI. All right, so SOFI is starting to come out of the works right now. All right, so it's broken some of these shorter term areas here. We do have a pyramid entry there at this point. So I'm kind of liking this. All right, if you want to be super conservative and wait for it to break above here, you could, but I wouldn't. I'd go in. All right, you got to have your stop low though. It's got to be around $5 because it's pulled up so much so quickly here that you need to give it a little room for a slight pullback. So $5.08 is where the stop should be. So this is SOFI, and I would say minimum target here is about $11.90, almost $12 to $16. So not quite a double your money unless it gets deeper into the target zone, but an awesome trade. Okay, SOFI. All right, let's keep going here. Good ones today, guys. All right, MBLY. MBLY. Let's see what's cooking on that one. This is for Alexander. All right, not a lot of history on this. Okay, we go back to 2022. Elliott Wave's not going to be much help there. So let's see. Daily chart, kind of similar. All right. The only thing that's causing me a little concern, we technically don't have bearish divergence yet, but if this made another high, you'd have it. All right, so that indicates basically if it makes another high on lower momentum, then there's not as much oomph in it as it was before. 60-minute chart is bullish. All right, however, it looks like at this particular point, once again, the best entry would have been down here at 540 and trail your stops, and your stop would be kind of in that area there, right about, well, you would have been stopped out on this. I guess it didn't load quick enough. Okay, so you would have been stopped out here. Okay, so it had to wait for the data. So at this particular time, you're in probably a pullback inside a movement that's still going up because you have a green PTF. So I'm thinking maybe a little bit of a pullback here. Let me just run this a little bit and see. Okay, let me draw the fibs in. And so probably a pullback to about 42 to 39, roughly. So in between these two blue lines. So if you're out of this, don't go back in until we hit that target and the owls turn green again on the 60-minute. All right. And then your fib extensions will give you your target on the next move up. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on that one. All right. So that's MBLY. If you're in it and you're going to stay in it, you want to have your stop below 39.38. Preferably, let's see where it should go here. I would say 38.69 to be safe. Okay. So that's MBLY. All right, let's take a look at BYDDF. BYDDF. All right, so you got to give this a second to load here. All right, so right away we see low liquidity on this simply because the 60-minute chart is a little bit wonky on the price bars. So kind of a little bit, you have to be a little bit careful on this. All right, large orders can swing those price bars like that. All right, so where is this thing on the weekly chart? Let's first see how much history. Well, we got quite a bit of history on this. Looks like we have an impulsive wave to the upside here. Then we had a significant pullback here, another high, and then one more high. So very interesting. Okay, so where is this now? We had bearish divergence all the way up. And is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Let's take a look and see what we've got cooking here on this time frame. All right, messy chart. So Elliott Wave is not that clear on this one, but the PTFs are. So the PTFs are calling for a high on this right around this high point here. That's the highest price bar in the PTF. All right, you got a PTF here, but that's not helping us much because that PTF is only calling for a high above almost where we are now. So the daily chart has a better PTF reading for a longer term trade. So that high is 33.87 and we're at 31.83. So not that much higher. So I would not do this one because it's just not as good as some of the others. Okay, I think you can find something better. All right, ON, let's take a look at that one. All right, so we looked at this one before and quite a while ago actually. And here is one where we had a pullback area here. We got it, and then it went on for another high. So we're getting bearish divergence in this now. All right, stop long term is going to be right under this area here. So that's a low of 59.77. That's a long way away from where prices are. All right, so you want to use a stop on one of the shorter time frames. So the stop really on this should be at 78.34. We have bearish divergence on this time frame, green PTF. So we're still going up a little bit, but we're getting near the end. Okay, I'm not going to recommend it, but if you're in it, just put your stop right there and you should get a little more push out of that. When this PTF, now let me just show you how we use our tools. So, all right, so I'm telling you your stop should be here, right? And probably another push up. Well, when it gives you that push up, all right, the 60-minute chart is going to be looking at that. And it's going to be looking at the PTF. As soon as the PTF turns yellow, I would sell half my position and put the rest of the half on the most recent stop. You may get another one that forms up here, but that's how I would do it. So that's how using multiple time frame analysis allows you to manage the trade properly. Okay, so there you have that. All right, thank you, Alexander. All right, let's see, Dow, please. Which one of the Dow? Okay, the overall Dow. You can look at the S&P too. Let's take a look at the overall Dow here. All right, so on the Dow situation here, as you know, we feel we're in a long-term bearish market. Now, during a long-term bearish market, what you have occurring is you have many, many months like we've been in now of bullishness. That's not unusual. And we had that big move down, and then we had the rebound that's been going on for quite some time, like 6-7 months now. And now we have a bullish day here. So like I said months ago, I don't think this bullishness is going to end until probably midsummer. Well, here we are midsummer. So we may be getting closer and closer at this point. So we've got a lot of bearishness in the market. We've got a red pyramid here. We got a red PTF here indicating that there's a 75% probability on the next sell-off of getting basically below, what's the low of that? 21, okay, $21.95. So that's a 50% retracement. So that's what we're expecting. Now, I do think we're in a little bit of a push up because the 60-minute chart has us going up. And, you know, that's basically what we're seeing today. So if we draw in some fib retracements, I would expect this to continue up to about 51.79 to 54 before we see some more selling come back in. Now, with that said, you kind of want to keep an eye on this point here. If we go below there, then we're probably going to fall quite some ways. We'll be basically on our way in the last leg down to the target zone. So that's kind of where we're at now. But right now we're in a short-term bullishness, basically because of the job report coming out so good in May. And these type of things cause the market to react short-term. So that's what we're seeing. But overall, it's bearish. Long-term. All right, so hopefully that helps. All right, let's see what we got. SE. Let's take a look at old SE. Oh, this one we've looked at a lot. All right, so Al's looking at a short trade, all right, on this one. And, okay, so it's come down so much, Al, on this. The PTF for a short trade here is right about there. All right, so your low there is 56.05 and you're at 59. So you've probably got a pretty good chance to get there. You're going to have, looks like a rebound coming up before it gets down there. So I would say probably just roughly you're going up to about maybe in the 60s before it heads back down because it's going to retrace, I think, this big move up a little bit and then head back down if this remains red. Looks like it will. On the overall picture here, we're also due for a bullish retracement. All right, so the target for that is 165 to 171, but I think we got to be careful because with a red PTF on that daily, we don't want to take a long position now. Okay, and this is exactly why when you shoot for these retracement trades and you get in early, you got to keep that low low. You got to keep your stop low, and the stop on this, all right, at the very least is right around 57.95. But you know, you're better off waiting for that first big retracement and putting it at the very bottom. All right, so I'm not going to recommend this. If you're in it, just make sure your stop is near the bottom, okay, on the weekly chart, right around down here, and that should keep you in. All right, let's see what else we got here. BA, Bank of America, I think. That one. All right, so Al's saying it's broken out of a trading range. So we had a little bit of a range here. It seems to be breaking out now. Red PTF on the 60 keeps me from doing anything to the long side. So I'm not that enthusiastic on the breakout. And the breakout really isn't that much. It's only broken out of this sideways channel here. All right, I don't even think it's taken out this yet. Let me just see here. So what's the high on that price bar? 218.57. And that's 212. So it hasn't broken out really of the range, just of the last, 10 price bars. So let's see how that develops and take a look at that next week. But at this particular point, the red PTF is going to hold me back. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got cooking here. All right, Mark's got another one for us. ABNB. ABNB. Okay, so not much history on this one, but we got to move up. We got a pyramid. Not my favorite. Okay, no history to speak of that gives us any Elliott wave count on the weekly. You've got a move to the downside, but not enough history there either to get a really good grip on things. So basically, you could be climbing off a bottom of some type here. That is true. Just not sure where the target's going to be. Okay, that's the problem. Is this a overall bottom, and are we moving up from here? Not enough information to make that assessment. Let me just see if the 60-minute chart can help us at all. Let's open that up a little bit and see what that is showing. So you have a little bit of a green PTF, but only above the prices here. So that's my only problem with this. I'm not really 100% sure what the target would be on this. Without a long-term consensus on the Elliott wave on this, kind of makes it difficult. All right, so XBI. Let's move on to XBI. Al is long on this one. Okay, so you're expecting a bottom here. So let's open up the weekly chart. All right, nice history on this one. You see, when I look at something like this compared to the one we just looked at, the problem is that why do you want to trade one that's so iffy when you can spot ones that are a lot more clear? Okay, your job as a trader to go with the highest probability trades. And so when you get into something that's messy or not clear, just pass. Okay, there's others out there. All right, let me just first of all make sure this is drawn a little better here. I think that probably right there. All right, so that's a wave 3. Looks like a wave 4. A, B, C, fairly clearly seen inside the wave 4. Classic move down, but didn't take the bottom. That's actually a good sign. All right, and also we've got no more red PTF on this. So that is favorable for a wave 4 bottom in place, which means you'll have wave 5. So the next thing we want to do is figure out where the target is going to be. So let's draw in the extension here and get an idea basically of where this thing could be going if the bottom is in and it goes on a wave 5. So it was a pretty deep retracement. So the wave 5 bottom here, wave 5 top is going to be 157 to 217. So this is a 3, 4, and 5. Now, when you have a big retracement, notice it went really 75% of the time, wave 4 is in between these two blue lines. 15% of the time they exceed it, like in this case, and then 15% of the time they're shallow. When they exceed it to the downside, that's going to lower the wave 5 target zone because it's a lot deeper. So that's why it's the target zone is just under wave 3 and also above wave 3. Chances are we'll get above wave 3. That happens most of the time unless you get a failed wave 5. So I'm thinking probably, you know, you're going to breach the high of wave 3 and then be in the target zone. So that's a pretty decent risk to return, right? So if you put your stop way down here on the weekly, let it go, all right, your reward is going to be like 3 or 4 times what your risk would be. I like that. That adds up to a good trade. All right, let's check with the lower time frames. They look good as well. All right, so there you have it. Now, if you want a shorter term time frame, well, you can just shoot for the fib retracement area right in here and trail your stops when it gets to 105 to 131. So I'm going to put this one down as a buy. It's XBI. I like it. Looks really good. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. All right, let's see. STGW. Let's see what we got here. Give that a second to load. All right, let's open up that weekly chart first, get an overall view of what's going on. All right, we had a big move up, big sell-off. Maybe a wave 1 long-term on a macro level, and a wave 2 could be here. All right, that's the only wave count for me that makes sense on this one. All right, because you had a 3, 4, 5 ending a large 1, I think. I think that's basically the way I would look at that. So we're probably starting over on the next trend up. So this is looking pretty good for the trend up. Green PTF, nice, pretty high target on that green PTF. So that's 1104. And where are we now at this? 671, almost a double your money here. Let's take a look at the lower time frames. They look good as well. I'm liking this. All right, this is one I would put a buy in. Now, a couple things you could do. You got to put your stop, I think, under here because you have not had a significant retracement yet. So don't use the pyramid here. Put it down here. Give it enough room, and you should be okay because you usually get a pretty good pullback. This bottom held. This held. Put your stop right here. All right. So this is one that's on the buy list. Okay. This looks like it'll be pretty good. Where's the target going to be on this? Well, based just off the pyramid trading point, you know, you're looking at a high way above this area here at 1104. So that makes the trade worth it right there. Okay. So very, very good one. Okay. STGW. VUZI. VUZI. Let's see what's cooking with that one. Who is this one for? This is for, well, I think I missed a whole bunch. Hold on, I got to go back. Okay, this is for, I bet. Okay. All right, so I bet, let's see what's cooking on this one. All right, nice PTF high. Look at that. So you can use that for a long-term target right there. So whenever we find something that is a long-term target, you know that's long-term, right? That means it's going to take probably years to get up there, not just months. So if you don't want to trade that, stay in it that long, then you want to only consider trades on the daily and the 60. So that high, though, is 22, and it's at 495. Not too bad. All right. You got a pyramid trading point entry here. And I probably would wait for this to turn green. It's very close to, but it looks pretty good. Let me just see what the underlying ones are. All right, I'm going to put this one down as a buy. VUZI. All right, and I put the stop under here at $3.28. And you should be good for quite some time. Short term, I think short term, you're probably going up to a fib retracement at least, which is going to put you in the $14 to $18 range, I think. All right, so that's VUSI. All right, I think I missed some here, so let me go back. Yep, I missed quite a few. Boy, they're really coming in. You guys are great. All right, so all right, I think I might be at AKA. Is that right? What do you think? I think I might be there. All right, so let's take a look at AKA. All right, so not much history on this. However, okay, it has come down a bit, but it's still coming down. I would not take a long trade here at this time. All right. I think maybe you could be getting close to a retracement, but you don't have any pyramids yet. So let's look at this in the weeks ahead and see if it's any better. Plus, it's a penny stock. Okay. All right. So let's move on with that. All right. So let's see. All right. Frank, this was for you. Let's see what we got cooking here. All right, MRNA. Give that a second to load. All right, so this one went up and went down, but it's got a huge green PTF long term. So it should return and make a high here. Again, we got to make sure it's bottomed. That's the key. All right, still kind of heading down here. Starting to turn around on the 60-minute chart. That's for sure. Okay, we're starting to get that movement up here. All right, so if you're going to take a trade on the daily chart, wait until this turns green and this pyramid's taken out. Short-term trade, you're good probably up to there. You got to put your stop there. So on a short-term trade, this wouldn't be bad using the 60-minute chart. If it's a longer-term trade, if we get above that 60-minute point, you can also hold it into a long term. So I'm actually going to put this down as a yes on the short time frames. Okay, so that's okay. All right, let's see BFLY. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy. All right, green PTF long term, double your money on that one. Almost might be a little early to enter on that one. However, the daily chart looks like we may have a bottom here. We went up. There's your big pullback, right? So this could go here. So you could do a couple things here. We're probably, we got bearish divergence here. You're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback here. And then if it resurges, you can go long there. If you want to go long at this particular point, you no longer have an active pyramid, but you don't have a bullish one either. And technically, this isn't a downtrend here. So this would be a more risky trade. I'm not going to recommend this one this week, but next week it could be better. But I think it's setting up to be a good trade. I just would like a few more things to happen before I recommend it. Okay, not too bad. And Jim, that's for you. All right, INTT for Al. Let's see what we're running on this one here. Okay, so let me look this one up here. What do we got cooking? All right, so now again, we're in a wave 3. This owl is higher than this one, so there's more momentum, and the highest momentum is in the wave 3, so you're still moving up here. So that looks good. So what's wrong with this? What would be wrong with going in now? The problem with going in now is you're ripe for a pullback. That's the problem. So even though I like it, I would probably wait until it pulls back, wait for that pullback to finish, and then go. Now, the ideal trade would have been here. So at this point, this would have looked like a 3. This would have been an A, a B, and a C for a 4, and you thought you were going in 5. But as soon as this owl exceeds this one, you know now this is a major 3. So the pyramids will keep you in very well on this for a long-term trade. If you want to take profits on this leg up, so you don't have to worry about the pullback, well, you got the pyramids on the daily chart that did that, okay? All right, and it took you out already. So I don't think I'd go long here, all right? I'd wait, even if I was doing a long-term trade, I would wait for a pullback. And that's INTT. Okay, OMER. OMER. Okay, so OMER, okay, looking pretty good on the weekly. Looks like we're starting to move back to the upside. All right, a little bit of a messy chart though. All right, so the weekly's not really telling me too much about the Elliott wave on this because it goes back to 2010 and it's been a nightmare, a mess, right? So not so great. I'd probably have to look at like a quarterly chart to kind of make any sense out of it. So the only thing I like about this is that we had a big move up and we tested that bottom. It held double bottom. Then we started moving back up. That turned the owl green. We no longer have red here, and we do have some pyramids there. All right, so that's kind of a good sign. The daily chart is indicating bearish divergence, and looks like we're going to make another high before we have any type of selling on the daily chart because the PTF is green on the actual 60-minute chart. So that's kind of where we're at now. All right. So I see more upside. Again, trade entry is not that great here. Okay, that's the problem. All right, TAST. TAST. All right, again, so basically nice move off the bottom. The trade would have been better here back in the beginning of the year at $2. A little late now, okay? So again, that $2 entry would have been the best place. And this looks like you'll probably have a stop sometime in there. So I would say, you know, more highs are coming on this. Again, I'd wait for the pullback. It's a late entry right now. All right, Jim, on the spider. Let's see what's cooking on the old SPY. All right, so we're moving up here. But again, this movement up is all part of a bullish move inside a long-term bearish move, okay? So that's kind of where we're at now. And enjoy the ride. I mean, this bullish move has been pretty moved to the upside since October. So, you know, there you have it. I don't expect the all-time market high that was reached in 2022 to be breached, but I do think we could go up to 440 or so, maybe even a little higher before this thing turns around. But we're not going to probably go above 480. I don't think that'll happen. All right, so that's kind of where we're at now. So bullishness continues. And like I said, probably in, you know, sometime this summer, maybe late fall now, it could turn around. You just never know how long these little bullish moves are going to move. So that's kind of where we're at now, right? So again, we're bearish overall in the markets, but enjoying the bull run. And we found a lot of bullish stocks today. So I still think we've got some more room to the upside here. All right, so that is SPY. Let's take a look at SNCY. So in other words, this bullish move that we've seen in the markets since October has not changed the long-term outlook, which is bearish. All right, so here we are here on this one. This one is April of 2021 is the history. Nice move down, kind of a bottoming area here. Not a very big Elliott wave, but okay, maybe a bottom here. All right, so possible long trade. And I again, trying to figure out the target is the tough spot. We no longer have the PTF here, and the only target that I could come up with would be a possibility of an extension, because I really don't know how much of a move this is going to be. So maybe 24 bucks to 31, and we're at 19. Not going to recommend it, but that's if you're in it. Probably it could be good till about then. You may get a pullback here pretty soon, but it should pull back to about 18 bucks or so, and then research. All right, so SNCY, and Al, that one was for you. All right, so another one here, STGW. Let's see what we got cooking there. All right, we open up the weekly. Nice amount of history. Okay, so big move up, big move down. So again, this is kind of looking, I'm not sure if I looked at this one already because it looks like one of the other ones I looked at. STG, yeah, we looked at this one. Okay, so we're good there. All right, so this was actually a buy. All right, on the hopes that it would take off again. All right, let's see. Did I do VUZI yet? I bet that's for you. I can't remember if I did that one or not. Don't think I did. All right, I kind of got it out of sorts here on the comments here. You got kind of whacked out here a little bit. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so we've got a big move up here, possible on the weekly chart, and we got the pyramid here. This one kind of looks a little familiar too. So this one's not bad, and we did look at this one. This one we recommended. All right, so there we have that one. Let me start at the bottom and see RIOT. Okay, RIOT is the blockchain crypto, and Frank is asking about this. All the cryptos have been in a fairly good pullback mode, except for RIOT. So RIOT has done really, really well. So we drew this little fib retracement in, expecting it to go here, and then boom, it did spring out. So we expected that. We've still got green here. No reason to get out of this trade, okay? No reason right now. Just stay with it, but you do want to have your stop right around this area here. In fact, you can put it right there. So your stop should be at 1042 on this, and that will allow you to stay in it for as much as possible. And using our software, there's scale out points you could use, especially when the PTF turns yellow. So the PTF is basically saying a high here of 1443. So probably that would be a good place to maybe scale out a little bit and then keep your stop for the rest of the position back on that. All right, so let's see. All right, so let me ask a question. I might have missed some. Did I miss any? And if I missed you, retype them in, okay, at the bottom. Okay, good. Okay, all right, that's what I need to know. All right, so Mark, MA, okay, let's take a look at that one. MARA, and then Perry, I'll look at Adam too, okay? So any ones I missed, type them in now because they're easier for me to find versus scrolling up. All right, so MARA. Moving up, green PTF on the 60, but red on there. Okay, so yeah, I don't think I would do anything with this one, okay? All right, let's move on. ADOM, Atom. All right, let's see what we got cooking here. All right, history back there. So this could be a 1, 2. We've got green, green, and a green PTF. So automatically, even though the Elliott wave is, because there's not a lot of history, it's not that clear, the PTF is calling for eventual new highs years from now above that. So this is promising, all right? And maybe we've retraced and we're pulling up. So this is actually turning bullish. And we're seeing the bullishness also on the daily chart. And we're seeing a little pullback on the 60-minute after this move up. So here's what I would do. All right, you've got plenty of profit possibility here. Plenty. And this will probably take out that high at some point. I would wait for this pyramid, which is blue, to turn green. Your entry should be one tick over that. Okay. Now, if you get, if we look at this next week and the 60-minute turns bullish, and you want to try for an early entry, you can use the 60-minute chart. But for right now, because it's pulling back, I would put this on a watch list. But this is really good, so you don't want to miss it, but not quite yet. All right, DOCN, DOCN. Let's take a look at that bad boy. Well, you guys are great today, tons of them. All right, so this is looking good on all three time frames. Again, not much history, but you have PTFs on this indicating significant movement up. You have a pyramid here. You have green, green. So all the dots are connecting. The more dots you can connect, the better the possibility of the trade. So this is this, this is this. Yeah, you'll get a little pullback, but let's get that stop. Let's put that stop maybe down around 32, and that should survive any minor pullbacks. This is a go, all right? I'm going to put this on the buy list. That's a nice one, okay? DOCN. Liking it. All right, let's keep going here. All right, FRGE. All right, so this is a penny stock. We're starting to see some bullishness come in. We're starting to take out some of the lower levels. Still got a little bit of red here. I'll tell you what I would do on this one. You've got, you don't have a pyramid yet on the daily. You do have one on the 60-minute. So if it was a quick 60-minute trade, it would have been okay to go in here. Problem is kind of at a retracement target zone, the 60. So you may get a pullback again, and then I'd like to see the power on the next move leg up. So here's what I would do, all right? If you get the pullback, you've got a prime area where a pyramid trading point could form. I would not go long until you get a pyramid trading point, a green pyramid trading point on the daily chart, okay? Yeah, lots of good picks today. You guys are awesome today. All right, so this is really good. All right, SSRM. And you know, what that shows you is that this bull leg we're in inside the massive bear market is not yet over. All right, so Mark has got us looking here at SSRM. Let's open up that weekly chart. Okay, so we've got tons of history here. All right, so we had a big move down, big move here. This bottom did not hold, so it made another bottom, and it's kind of skitching along the edge here. You do have a PTF target on this one, so I like that. All right, I'm not really sure of the Elliott wave on this without doing a lot more analysis. So this is definitely scratching your head for more than 20 seconds. Usually when I do that, I pass on the trade, but not when I have a pyramid PTF that is giving me a possible target. So the target is 24.58. All right, basically that's where probabilities indicate, and you got a green pyramid. Let's see about down here. All right, so you had a little bit of a pullback here, might be bottoming. You've got some bullishness coming in here, and you've got a situation coming in here. All right, if you want to take a flyer on this one, go ahead and put your stop either here or here. Do not use the pyramid. I would use this as an entry, but I'd put your stop at the very bottom because this is not green. If this was green, I'd use the pyramid over here. But with this being red, you want to give it a little bit more room. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm at on this one. So possibly a bottom here or here. I'm not going to put this as a buy because the PTF, the owl rather, is still red on the daily chart. But I get it for a long trade, okay? So that is a possibility. I just kind of like this to turn around a teeny bit, all right? And it will. If it's a bullish run, it will turn, okay? So you won't miss out because the profit's pretty decent on this. But I would just wait for that to turn around. 60 minutes definitely starting to turn around, but you know that's going to turn around before the daily, of course. So let's just see how that works out. All right, cool. All right, anything else? Well, you guys are good today. All right, so I'm going to just recap what I've got here. We like Tesla, TSLA, SNO, SNOW, SOFI, SOFI, XBI, STGW, VUZI, MRNA for a short trade, I think that was it, and DOCN. Okay, so those are the winners. A lot of winners today. All right, so we'll post these in the recording as well. All right, well, listen, I guess we're over our hour limit, so a lot of picks we looked at today. What a great day. All right, so thank you for being here. All right, and we will post the recording on YouTube and get the timeline on there later today. Otherwise, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll put some intraday charts up just to end the session with a little bit of music, and we'll probably stay on for about another few minutes. But here is these are fun charts to look at. Let's put the S&P up here because it has really powered up today. A lot of nice day trades on this big move up. Check that out. I mean, look at that. Huge. Okay. So I'll leave that there. We're starting to see a little bearish divergence come in. And don't forget, this is a 1 minute time frame. So we may be setting up for a little pullback, wave 3 on the 5. So we'll see. Okay, we'll see. We may have a 3 top here, 5 top here. So we may have some type of 3 top over here. All right, but still pretty strong owls on the 5 minute. And we'll see what happens with that. Okay. So there you have it. Have an awesome weekend. Great job, everybody. And we'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much.